it's Don Skaggs again with Empowered Inventing, the one place where we try to help you help other people by taking innovation, great ideas, and opportunity and turning them into real things like products and businesses. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about a movie, and if you've been to any of our meetings and here at the Inventors Network Kentucky, and we have two Inventors Councils, that's why we call it the Inventors Network, one in Lexington, one in Louisville, Kentucky. We also do some online meetings, so if you're out of the state or out of the area, you can sometimes catch these as well. And then sometimes we rebroadcast these things online on our educational outlet, learn.empoweredinventing.com. But anyway, I said all that to say this because sometimes we'll have different speakers on expert topics of inventing and entrepreneurship, but then sometimes, about once a year, in either location, we do something that we call Inventor Entrepreneur Night at the Movies. Now this isn't a movie night where we just sit around and watch a movie. No. We take special movies that have good lessons in them about inventors, entrepreneurs. We did one on Ray Kroc, the founder, recently. It was really good. And before that one, we did another really good one called Joy. And if you've not seen the movie Joy, I highly recommend watching it. I don't know where you can rent it. It's probably streaming in a lot of different places right now. But anyway, if you do catch the movie, or if you have caught the movie, in our Inventor Entrepreneur Night at the Movies, we actually took selected scenes from the movie, and we would show the scenes, and then we would sit down and discuss what they were going through, what lessons we could learn, how we could help ourselves by learning from the mistakes they made, because that's the basis of a lot of wisdom that a lot of successful inventors make a foundation of, and that is learning from the mistakes of other people so you don't have to make them. That's the cheapest way to acquire wisdom, by the way. So, from this movie Joy, there's several lessons, and I want to share some of those lessons with you here. One lesson is this, and that's that don't spend a tremendous amount of time or money on something that you do not fully understand. And if you watch the movie, and I don't want to tell any spoilers, but in the movie towards the end, she's in this scene in this sleazy hotel room trying to deal with this really awful business partner guy, and it's probably a low moment. It looks like it now turns out well, but it starts out as just a really low moment in this inventor's life. And if you look back through the movie, though, you can actually see sort of a trail that led to that low moment. And it was a lot of mistakes, a lot of things that maybe she could have avoided. And those are things because she didn't understand. She kind of went into this raw. And a lot of us are guessing at it sometimes. And yes, we do make mistakes. We just did a video about how to fail without being a failure, and that's important, and you need to learn from those. But some mistakes are very avoidable because you can learn again from other people who have been there, done that, and can help you by telling you about these things. So another lesson to learn from this is it's a great quote from the movie, and he said the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh time you tell somebody something, they don't hear you. He said, but the time you get to the ninth time, he says, then they finally hear you. So repetition is actually important. You think you've just told it to death, or you've been to this place over and over again. I've had products that I've taken around to potential customers, and in my business, one of my businesses, our potential customers were actually hospital laboratories, and I would take this product in, and we would be selling this product for years, successful product. But some accounts I'd go into, this product, I would just tell them about them, and they just look at me like a cow does at a passing train. They would not get it. And then finally, after months or even years, I'd come back in again and I'd show it to them, and they'd look at it, and their face would light up, and they'd say, "This is great. How come you've not told me about this before?" And I just want to go, "Are you kidding me?" But it happens because the time 1 through 8, that person never heard me. But I had to tell them that 9th time. It's very important. It's a great lesson from that movie. and it's one I've experienced myself. But it's an important lesson to remember that repetition is important and persistence is important. So, and that leads me to another thing, and that's perseverance. Perseverance is very, very important. In the face of naysayers and people telling her just go home, you're a housewife, don't try to sell this or turn this into a business, nobody's going to want to ever buy one of these things, and just dysfunctional family naysayers saying, you just need to give up. She persevered. And a lot of times there's negative people in our lives, and negative people that just try to pull us down, or negative opposition we come up against when we're in the marketplace. And you can't let that pull you down. Now you need to take the good, positive, constructive criticisms and the aggregate of negative feedback and kind of use that as a teaching tool to where your product needs to be and what it needs to be and where it needs to live. But at the same time, you can't let negativity pull you down. And if you do that, it will make you give up. And if you give up, you'll never know what it could have been. So perseverance and persistence is very, very key here. Particularly perseverance in the face of opposition. And that's very important, because when you're just getting all this bad stuff lobbed at you, you don't feel like persevering. You don't feel like getting up the next morning. But you have to do it, and it's very important that you do it. And do it when you don't feel like it. That's the whole thing about diligence that we teach. Diligence is vitally important for inventors and entrepreneurs. That's you make an appointment with your invention, your startup. You say, okay, on Wednesdays between 6 and 9 p.m., I'm getting up off the couch, I'm putting down the remote, and I am going to work on my invention. And you have to have that. It's very important. Another lesson is that even in the hands of so-called experts, the product can fail. And it can fail not because it was a bad product, but just because it wasn't marketed right. So a lot of times I don't totally rely on putting something in the hands of a so-called expert. Now there's situations where you can find good vetted people and you can trust them, but never expect what you don't inspect. And in the movie, she kind of hands the product off to this guy that's pitching it, and the guy knew nothing about what he was selling, and it failed miserably the first time on QVC. And it wasn't until she could sell it herself, something they'd never done before, that it became a success. And again, a lot of times nobody's going to care about your product like you are. Another thing is that you can try very, very, very hard and still fail. And I always think of the Kmart scene. That's a great scene from the movie where she's trying to sell the mops in the Kmart parking lot, and or at least get customer feedback, and the police show up, and she gets in trouble, and they confiscate her mops. And again, it's a real low point. I mean, this is a really good educational movie on just how hard it is to get something off the ground. Now, was the Kmart idea a good idea? I don't. Well, she wasn't supposed to be there, so although I have known inventors who have done that very exact same thing and actually got thrown out of parking lots before, so I don't recommend that, but it just says something about the chutzpah that she had, and that this other real-life inventor I know, well, she was real-life too, but this other inventor I personally knew that actually went and did that. He had a hardware product. And he became successful, by the way, because I think not because he went to the parking lots and was trying to get customer feedback, but because he had that chutzpah of getting out there. But in the face of all that, you're still going to get failures. But you just have to learn from that and move forward. The one thing after that Kmart failure is she learned different strategies. And she learned to pivot to these different strategies so she could succeed. She stopped going to the little mom and pop shops. She stopped trying to hawk it in Kmart parking lots, and she went to QVC. And that was what kind of opened the door. And that was still a long, arduous journey all by itself. But she had perseverance. Lastly, overnight successes are really never truly overnight. They're overnight successes, but they're usually 10, 20 years in the making. Now, that doesn't mean you need to work on your idea 10, 20 years. I'm not saying that you need to have fast iterations and go or no go to the market. But sometimes when you become a great success, that road can take a long time. And you can have successes along the way, and you can have ROI along the way. But really to become one of those Joy Mangano success stories, it takes a long time to get there. There's a learning curve, and there's a hill to climb. But you can make it, and you can do it. I've seen other people do it. I know it can be done, and I hope that you can do it. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope you've learned something. I hope this helped move you along today and throughout your idea and startup's journey. Again, I'm Don Skaggs, Empowered Inventing. If you're watching me on YouTube, be sure and subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll let you know about new videos that are coming out. Sign up for our newsletter. We'll be sending you out email announcements on these and just kind of let you know what's coming out when and let you know about new cool things. So be sure and do that. Again, I'm Don Skaggs, and I will look to see you at the next meeting, workshop, online class, or on the next video.